I need $10,000. Suddenly, my 6-year-old grandson, whom I hadn't seen for half a year, appeared with this startling request. I couldn't believe my ears. Moreover, he looked terribly thin and ragged. I don't want to sleep in the park anymore. I want to buy a house. That was all he said when I asked him why. So many thoughts raced through my mind. I tried to bring him inside to talk, but he stood still, refusing to move. What followed was a whirlwind of events I could never have imagined. I'm Kelly, 55, working actively as a manager in a food company. After losing my husband early, I raised my daughter Zoe single-handedly, working from dawn till dusk. We hardly had time for conversations, so Zoe and I kept a shared diary for updates, supporting each other like friends as much as mother and daughter. 7 years ago, Zoe got married. I happily gave them a generous wedding gift. Initially, I thought it might be overbearing, but my son-in-law, Theo, appreciated it, so I felt relieved. After Zoe moved out, I felt lonely, but they lived nearby, so I could see them anytime. We visited each other's homes frequently, and my grandson Tyler's photos sent by Zoe were my solace. When Tyler learned to walk, he said proudly during one of his visits, "We took the train here. I know how to get to Grandma's house now." How amazing, Tyler. You're welcome anytime. His proud little face warmed my heart. Theo said, "They both love you, so feel free to visit anytime," which put me at ease. However, about a year ago, Zoe's tone became heavy whenever I asked about weekend plans. Concerned, I asked her why. "Just, you know." She was vague and didn't give a clear answer. At the time, I didn't press further, which I later deeply regretted. Work got busier, and I hadn't seen Zoe and Tyler for a while. One day, thinking of visiting them, I called Zoe's cell phone. Surprisingly, Theo answered. "I'll be straightforward. Please don't come over anymore. Zoe is bothered by you." He claimed Zoe found it tedious to entertain me, and that it's only natural for him to prioritize his family on weekends. His unexpected words hit me like a hammer. I'm sorry, I never realized. All I could muster was a faint apology, my mind in turmoil. "Don't tell Zoe I said this. She didn't want to upset you. So, keep it between us, okay?" With that, Theo abruptly ended the call. "Zoe, what's going on?" Although what Theo said might have some truth, I couldn't believe Zoe would reject me. We always talked about everything. So I tried calling her cell phone again. "Hello, Zoe. Oh, Theo again. Please stop calling. It's really bothersome." Even my messages online went unread. Before I knew it, 6 months had passed since I last saw Zoe and Tyler. One afternoon, while drinking coffee alone at home, the doorbell rang. "Tyler, what's happened to you?" Realizing it was my grandson, I hurried to open the door. Tyler's face briefly twisted, but then he looked at me with a serious expression. "I need $10,000. Shocked at my grandson's request for such a large sum, especially considering his emaciated and tattered appearance, I was flooded with thoughts. "Come inside, and I'll make you some warm food right now." I tried to lead him inside, but Tyler refused. "I don't want to sleep in the park anymore. I want to buy a house. If I don't, Mom will be in trouble." "What do you mean?" It seemed my grandson, Tyler, and my daughter Zoe had been sleeping rough for several days. Mom stopped moving. Tyler had come to seek help. "Please, take me to Zoe's place." In a panic, I took a taxi with Tyler to a park near my daughter's house. There, in a makeshift home of cardboard, hidden in a secluded area of the park, lay my daughter, unresponsive. "Zoe, please, open your eyes." Despite my calls, she didn't stir, and I trembled as I called for an ambulance. Rushed to the emergency room. Zoe lay unconscious with a high fever. Tyler, thin and frail, was also examined, but fortunately, rest at home was all he needed. Later, the hospital staff informed me that Zoe was on 4 fluids, and all we could do was wait and observe. If anything changed, they would contact me. Desperate to stay with my daughter, I was reluctantly sent home. "Grandma, I'm hungry." Tyler finally relaxed, slumping at the entrance of my home. I bathed him in a warm tub and prepared his favorite salmon and scrambled eggs. It's delicious. His voracious eating deepened my worry. Suddenly, his chopsticks stopped, and tears started flowing. What's wrong? Grandma will listen to everything. I wrapped my arm around his shoulder, trying to comfort him. We got kicked out of our house, and I can't go to kindergarten anymore because it costs money. Tyler revealed that one day, Theo's mother and sister moved in and began treating Zoe like a servant. Theo ignored it, even joining in the mistreatment. Any noise from Zoe or Tyler was met with anger, sometimes leading to things being thrown at them. Eventually, they were thrown out. At first, we had a little money for snack bread, but Mom said she wasn't hungry and gave it all to me. Then she got weaker. Why didn't you come to my house sooner? Mom said it would bring trouble to you. But when she collapsed, I hurried here. Gathering the last of his coins, Tyler relied on his memory of the route to my house to seek help. I should have noticed something was wrong with my daughter. If only I had. The thought of their hardships under the cold sky filled me with indescribable pain. But regret wouldn't turn back time. Instead, I decided to talk to Theo. Holding Tyler's hand, I let him sleep in my bed. And once he was asleep, I tried calling Theo, to no avail. As I went to sort through Zoe's laundry from the hospital, I found something startling. What's this? Discovering a hidden truth, I vowed to seek revenge on Theo and his family. The next day, I set out to corner them, sure of something they didn't know. With everything ready, I left Tyler at home and headed to Theo's house, accompanied by someone. Who's there? Disturbing us in broad daylight. Theo's sister answered the door as if it were her own home, but I barged in without hesitation. What are you doing here? The house was a mess, a far cry from when Zoe kept it spotless. Theo, who are these rude people? Not only his sister but also his mother confronted me as if they owned the place. Who, you ask? I'm Zoe's mother. We've met before, haven't we? But who's being rude here, I wonder? Ignoring my sarcasm, Theo's mother and sister exchanged glances. Unperturbed, fuming, I approached Theo. Why did you kick Zoe and Tyler out of this house? And why are these people living here like they own it? I'm the head of the family, so if I say it's fine, then it's fine. Theo responded without changing his expression to my question. My mother and I moved in because I divorced and had no place to live. Her apartment lease was up, so we decided to live together, said Theo's sister, with their mother nodding in agreement. That's no reason to kick out your own wife and child. They're just outsiders, right? It's uncomfortable having them around, Theo's mother added, saying it was their fault for being useless servants. I was boiling with anger at their selfishness. What kind of head are you, not caring for your own wife and child? Zoe is in critical condition, unconscious. Oh, that's her own doing, Theo's sister and mother whispered, smirking at each other. You'll only laugh for so long. And Theo, you were having an affair. There was a brief pause, but he remained smug. An affair? Got any proof? Make false accusations, and I'll sue you for defamation. How about this for proof? I showed him several photos of him with his mistress. Where did you get those? I took out the shared diary Zoe and I used to communicate. After she stopped writing to me, she filled the remaining pages. Initially, it was filled with joy about her marriage and child, but it soon turned to her pain over Theo's affair. She took the diary with her when they were kicked out, probably too upset to leave it behind. The diary mentioned no solid proof, so I hired a detective agency to investigate Theo. The man accompanying me, quietly saying, "Affairs are not commendable," adjusted his glasses. You also lied about me embezzling company funds to control Zoe, threatening her with my social ruin. Apparently, Zoe believed that. Theo had photographed me receiving money in a hotel lobby, claiming it was embezzlement. The diary also revealed Zoe's phone was taken, leaving her unable to call for help. I've never embezzled, and I can prove my innocence easily. That must have been when I received legitimate cash sales, all of which can be proven. As I firmly stated this, Theo gritted his teeth in frustration. Then the man accompanying me glared at Theo. "This constitutes serious defamation. Who are you, acting so high and mighty?" The man smiled and handed Theo his business card from a major law firm. Theo pointed at the man beside me. "A lawyer. It's only logical not to come alone against unreasonable people like you. You never know what you might do," I said coldly. Theo glared back but had nothing to say. The lawyer then informed us that Zoe had already expressed her intent to divorce in her diary, and the matter was bound to be resolved sooner or later. He promptly produced the divorce papers Zoe had already signed. "Then don't ever set foot in this house again. Neither you nor her." Theo yelped like a defeated dog. Beside him, his sister and mother were also making a fuss, urging me to leave. I took a deep breath and calmly pulled out a document. "Theo, you seem to be mistaken. This house is under Zoe's name, not yours." "What do you mean? I never heard about this." He started to panic as I showed him the property deed. "Originally, I bought this house as a wedding gift for them. You left everything to Zoe, so you never even realized whose name it was under. Talk about getting what you deserve. No way." Theo, his sister, and mother all went pale, looking at Zoe's name on the deed, heads in their hands. "Now where will we go if we're kicked out?" The mother started blaming Theo, demanding he rent a house with his savings. "That's impossible. I don't have any savings. You guys handle it. I can't. I spent all my money on alimony after my divorce." Turns out, his sister was divorced too because of her own affair, and none of them had any savings left after their extravagant lifestyle. "Please, let's forget the divorce. Please, I'll get along with Zoe." I watched the three of them crying pathetically with a calm demeanor. "I'll never forgive you for what you've done. I'll also be claiming for defamation and compensation for Zoe's suffering." The lawyer beside me nodded deeply in agreement. The three of them collapsed to their knees as we watched. "Be gone within 3 days. Oh, and you might be taken away by the police before that." Their wailing followed me as I left Zoe's house with dignity. Soon after, I filed a police report, and they were taken in for questioning, spending about 3 days in custody. During that time, I moved all their belongings to a storage unit and changed the house locks, ensuring they could never return. Eventually, Theo lost his job due to this incident and was abandoned by his mistress. The three of them ended up working tirelessly, living as lodgers. Through our lawyer, we claimed $5,000 for defamation and $20,000 for Zoe's suffering from Theo and his family, including his mistress. Soon after, I received news that Zoe had awakened from her coma and was discharged last month. Now Zoe, Tyler, and I live together, enjoying our days filled with laughter.